Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We do have today Bailey, who's going to be going over the training platform. And then, of course, our wonderful client success team, Stacy, the manager, as well as Melissa and Abby, our client success advisors. So for today, we're going to go through the Inscape training login. So making sure you have access and can get into the training platform, going through the library, some of those administrative features, the reports, if you wanted to create your own content and use training as your own learning management system, we'll show you how you can utilize that, as well as the policy manager and some of those admin dashboard features and resources that are available for you within the training platform. Something really important we want to highlight is the onboarding tool. So you can use this onboarding tool at any time, and we will be referring to this. It breaks down everything for you in 6 easy steps to go ahead and get started in utilizing the training platform. Or it's a great refresher just to make sure that you have everything on there that you need, such as those email templates. If you want to add in the training to your team's application as well, or even getting those users from your Azure AD synced into your training platform. That can all be done and shown here on the onboarding tool. I am going to go ahead and pass it over to Bailey.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Sam. All righty. So just to start off, most importantly, to access the Inscape training portal, you're going to first navigate to our Inscape dashboard using the link that I put in the chat. And then you're going to click our Microsoft 365 training tab over in the left-hand menu. When you click that, it's going to direct you to a login page, which I am already logged in, so it skipped through that. But you should see the login page, and it will prompt you to log in either using the classic login or the Microsoft 365 login method. You can log in using either or. This is a really nice feature just in case you have maybe any of your end users that don't have Microsoft accounts or email addresses for whatever reason. If you maybe have some warehouse workers, that way they can still access all of the trainings in the portal without having a Microsoft 365 account. You can just assign them a username and a password, which I will show you later on once we get to our administrative features. But I'm just going to start off at the top of the left-hand menu here and work our way down. So starting with the insights, first and foremost, we have our security insights. Now, these are going to be featured monthly episodes that focus on relevant and essential information about technical topics and cybersecurity vigilance. These are uploaded on a monthly schedule, and these cover things from like AI voice scams, credit card theft, how to avoid natural disaster scams. So there's a lot of our more basic technical cybersecurity trainings, but then a lot of the less obvious ones that are really great too. And then we have our Insights quiz. The quizzes are newer within this latest season of season 8. So once a user finishes watching the episode, they can take this one question quiz, and it will allow them to work their way up through 3 different levels of the insights. And then next we have our Microsoft 365 Insights. Now these are, again, monthly episodic videos that cover all different aspects of Microsoft 365, but most of them are going to be focused on Copilot. This includes different tips, tricks, updates to help users stay on top of Microsoft's newest products and features, and really to increase adoption of Copilot for your users. And then moving on to the My Training, this is kind of like the end user dashboard. So here they can view any learning paths that they've been assigned and active courses that they haven't yet completed. So if a user comes in and starts a course on their own accord, but maybe isn't able to finish it all in one sitting, they can just come back here and pick up right where they left off. They can also see any policies that you've assigned to them, as well as the learning paths and drip learning campaigns. And then within this portal, we also have a really cool gamification program where your end users can earn points and make their way up through different levels. And by navigating here, so you will go to the achievements, and then there's this little information icon you can click on that will show you how your end users are able to earn points and work their way up through the different levels here. And then moving on to our course library. So the course library has over 5,000 preloaded Microsoft 365 training videos, as well as a lot of really great cybersecurity awareness, HR, business productivity, health in the workplace, and the additional training. There's some really great remote work trainings, Computers 101. So there's a lot of great content in here besides just the baseline Microsoft 365 trainings. And then within all of these modules in the course library, they're going to be broken down by both the Microsoft 365 applications and services, and then also by user level. So we have some essential trainings for more of your basic or beginner users, all the way up to pro trainings for more advanced users. And all of the courses within this course library are very short, easy to watch. We call them snackable videos. Most of them range anywhere from like 2 to 10 minutes is usually the max for most of these videos. So it's not like employees have to come in and watch a 30-minute video just to get information on one small topic. And then you can also highlight any of the courses in here. So if there's maybe specific courses that you want to mark as featured, you can just come here and click this mark as featured, and then it will kick it up to the top of your course library. So it kind of highlights that specific course for all of your end users. And then if you maybe don't want to assign a license to specific users, if there's maybe just a couple different courses that you want to assign to them, and you don't want to have to assign a license in here to those users, you can always come in and create shareable links and send that link to that user, and they will be able to access those videos for 7 days without actually having a training license within the portal. And then another pretty handy feature is our search feature. So if you're looking for any specific courses around a certain topic, you can always just type in the keyword up at the top of the left-hand menu, and that's going to show you any courses that include that specific topic. And there's also these little filters over here you can use to refine your search further. So if you want to match the exact phrase that you typed in, it'll only show you the courses that include whatever topic, exactly what you're looking for. All right, before we move on to administration, any questions so far?
So we do have a few that are having issues logging in, being disabled. We do have the team working on those, so hopefully your access will be enabled here shortly. But other than that, Bailey, we don't have any questions related to what you've reviewed at this point.
All right, perfect. Then next we're going to head into our administrative features. So first I'm going to head to the portal settings. We can cover all of this first, and then we'll kind of go back up to the top to users. So within the portal settings, first thing I want to cover is our general settings where you can add all of your Microsoft domains. So this is essentially what's going to enable your Microsoft 365 authentication and allow all of your users to log in using single sign-on. You can add as many different domains as you need to in here. They just all have to belong to the same Microsoft tenant. So for example, if a user is attempting to log in with a domain that is not approved in here, it is going to block them from signing in. And as well, all of the users that have any non-approved domains in here will not be synced into the portal. So you will want to come in and double check that all of the domains that are needed are added in here. And then next we have the Microsoft integration feature. So this is just a really easy way for you to add all of your end users into the portal without having to import them or manually create user accounts for everybody. There's two different methods. You can either do the full tenant sync or the Entra group sync. It's really up to you, whatever you prefer. I'll just say that most of our customers tend to opt into the group sync just because if you sync your full tenant, it might add some inactive users. If you maybe have unlicensed, inactive groups, just specific accounts that you don't want to add in here, that's when I would recommend doing our Entra group sync. That way you have full control over exactly who is synced into the portal. And once you initiate this sync, it does update once every 24 hours. So as you make changes to that Entra group or your tenant, those changes are automatically going to be made in this portal, whether that's adding or disabling users as needed. And then the second box from the bottom, you can also opt into sending sync invitations to your users. So the sync completes overnight. So once your users are added into the portal, if you check this box, it's going to automatically send a invitation email to all of those users. And then next, I'm going to head over to the communications. So this is where you can manage any of the automated emails that are sent out from the portal. So if you ever want to disable any of the end user emails that are sent out from the training portal, you can come in and turn those off. For example, I honestly recommend turning off, especially this learning paths automated email just at the beginning while you're working on getting everything set up. Because once you sync all of your users in here, they are going to receive an automated email from the portal letting them know that they've been assigned what's called a platform basics training. It's just a very short walkthrough tutorial that kind of guides end users on how to use the portal. But if you are not ready for your organization to receive automated emails right away, you definitely want to come in and turn these off. And then you can also edit the contents of any of the automated emails that are sent out using these edit buttons next to each of the categories.
And Bailey, while you're here, we do have a question. Is there a way to force a sync?
No, so the sync updates overnight every night, but to my knowledge, we can definitely double check with our training team, but to my knowledge, there is no way to force a sync on the user end. That is something that our support team could do, but on the user side, there is not.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, and then lastly, in the portal settings, we have our customization. So by default, you're all going to have the lovely Inscape Art of Cloud Management logo in the top left-hand corner of your portal, as well as our CDW graphic throughout various places in the portal. But if you would like to add your own company branding, just to make it a little more personable, you can. And then you can also change your login image and your color scheme if you maybe have company colors that you want to follow with this portal. All right, and then next I'm going to head up to users up at the top of our administration list. So here in the users area, most of you will probably be using this for editing user properties. So this is where you can update user permissions. If you maybe have a basic user that you want to make a portal administrator, just so you all know, by default, any user that's added into the portal is just going to be a basic user by default. So if you ever want to make anybody a group or a portal admin, you can come in here and change their permission level. And this is where you can also make people content creators or policy creators or coordinators, depending on what specific role you want them to have. So if you maybe want somebody to be able to add and create their own content or assign and create policies, you can add those roles as well. And then you can also use this for disabling users. So if you have anybody maybe leave the organization or they just don't need a training account anymore, like I said, the sync is going to do that for you. But if you ever need to come in and manually disable account, you can do so. And then this is also going to be used for changing user groups. We're going to go to the grouping next. But if you do happen to create your own groups and you need to move users around from group to group, you can select as many as you'd like to. And once you click Edit User Properties in our More menu, then you can select which specific group you want to add them to. So to go off of that, next we're going to head over to the grouping. By default, you're all going to have two groups, our default admin and default user groups. All portal administrators will go into the default admin group. All end users will go into the default user. And then from there, you can create as many different groups as you'd like to. If you maybe want to divide people up by department, job role, office location, whatever is easiest for your training management, you can just click the More dropdown, click Add Group, and you can add and name them as many as you need to. This is also a really easy way for you to manage the courses that are available in your course library. So you'll just select whatever group you want to manage the trainings for, and then click Edit Available Courses. By default, they're all going to be selected just because we make all of them available to you, but you can easily come in here and deselect any of the courses that you don't want available.
Bailey, we do have a question here in the chat. We have a customer that's asking if users can be deleted or just disabled.
So users can be deleted. I believe first you actually have to disable the user Let me check. Yeah, so you would have to, I believe you have to trash the user first. And then from there, you'll go to, actually, I'll just go here to our trash or maybe disable. And then you can delete them from there. So they either need to be disabled or trashed first. You can't just go in and delete a active user. You would have to disable or trash them first, and then you can delete their account from there. Alrighty, and then next to move on to the learning paths. So in the learning paths, you can use this for easily assigning trainings to end users. And you can either use the default templates that we have available in here. You can edit and customize these as needed, or we also have our manual selection feature. So if you just want to be able to come in and select as many different courses from all of the different modules that you would like, you can pick and choose individual courses and assign as many as you'd like to. So I'm just going to pick a couple here, and then moving on to our next step is where you'll choose your deadline type. So you can either set it as a time span, if you maybe want to give users 15 days, 30 days, 60 days to complete their training, or you can also set a hard date-based deadline. Now you'll want to read through the descriptions of each one because this is going to decide who you can assign trainings to. If you select this one that I selected, the time span, this is only going to allow you to assign the training to groups or above. If you picked the date-based deadline, then it will allow you to assign that learning path to individual users. And then lastly, you'll just finalize all of your settings. This is where you'll give your learning path a name. You'll set a due date. You can change the icon, of course. And then we have two different settings here that I want to explain. So we have the exclude prior activity. So if a user were to come into the course library and take a training on their own that maybe wasn't assigned to them previously, and then you happen to reassign that training to them within this learning path, it's essentially going to include that prior activity, so it will not require the learner to retake the course in order to complete the learning path. But if you do check this box, then it will require them to retake any previously taken courses to complete the learning path. And then you can also require exams to be passed. This is going to be checked by default. Most of our courses have exams at the end of them, but if you don't want to require that, you maybe only want them to have to watch the video to complete the learning path, you can uncheck this. And then lastly, we have all of our communication settings, so you can edit any of the communications that will be sent out with this learning path. You can preview the email before you finish it, and then once you click deploy, it's going to send that learning path email out to all of your users. And once you deploy a learning path, you can always come in and update it at any time. So if you need to assign it to new users, add additional courses or lessons, you can always come in and do that for the learning paths. And then we also have really great reporting. So you can see which users have taken which specific courses, how far they are into taking the courses. And then you can always come in and manually trigger an email to any incomplete learning path users. And then next, I'm going to head over to our drip learning campaigns. So the drip learning campaigns is very similar to the learning paths. Really, the biggest difference is this allows you to deliver lessons through a customizable email schedule. So unlike the learning paths, which assign lessons all at once, these are going to allow you to assign a lesson one at a time, which kind of helps to ensure a more manageable learning experience for your end users. So just as an example to walk you through how to create one, just because it is a little bit different than the learning paths. First, you would fill in your basic details, the name. Again, you can customize the template, and then you would select your recipients for the drip learning campaign. Once you've done all that, this is where you'll add your drops. This is how you add the courses that you want to assign. And you can select as many as you want to. Again, same with the learning paths. If you want to assign all of these eventually, you could technically select all of the courses and then assign it all in one drip learning campaign. Once you have your courses selected and save that, then you can come in and set your delivery intervals. And all of this is going to be in days. So for example, if you maybe want to do one course a day or one course a month, you would just add in the number of days here. The first one is not editable just because after you start the campaign, the first initial email is going to go out overnight. So technically the campaign will start the day after you click the start campaign button. So you can edit the order of any of these. Excuse me. Select your delivery intervals. You can even add new drops before you start it. And then whenever you're ready, you can click the start campaign button, and then this will send out that first initial email. But I do just want to say that this action is permanent. As you see here, you have to check this box before you confirm. This will not allow you, or after you deploy the campaign, you can no longer edit it. So you will not be able to add any additional drops. You can't sort it. You can't move the order around or anything like that. It does become permanent. You can always add new users if you would like to, but the drops themselves will not be editable after you click deploy. And then again, same with the learning paths. You can always come in and track and see what specific courses users have taken so far. And then next we have our onboarding tool, which Sam showed earlier. This is going to be under the administration. This will give you 6 steps on how to kind of get your portal ready for your end users. So definitely a really handy little tool just to make sure that everything is kind of finalized and set up and ready before you start adding your end users in here. And then lastly, in the administration, we have our surveys. So the surveys is going to be 1-question user surveys that you can create, and it will essentially be a pop-up that shows up the next time a user logs into the training portal. They'll be prompted to take it, but they can also opt out of it if they would like to. You'll just fill in your question, add your answers. If you would like to, you can check this other field, which allows them to type in their own response. You'll set a start date or an end date. And then the next time all of your users log into the portal, that survey will pop up. Then you can always come in and track the responses for those surveys. So as you can see here, I've had 12 opt-outs. 11 have said they did enjoy their training, so you will always be able to come in and see responses for those surveys. All right, any questions about anything in administration before I move on to the reporting?
No, Bailey, I don't see anything new in the chat.
Perfect, thank you. So next we have our training reports. This is going to be a really easy way for you to view activity, just like general course activity or portal activity. So here in our user course activity, this is going to show just activity around training content in specific. So you can see all the individuals, what specific courses they've started, their lesson progress, the lessons they've viewed, and approximate viewing time of each of those courses. Then we have our activity all users. This is just going to be general portal activity. So for example, if a portal administrator comes in and changes any portal settings or assigns trainings, anything like that, you will be able to track all user activity using this report. And then we also have our scheduled reports. So if you want to receive any of these daily, weekly, monthly, you can set your own frequency and this portal will email those reports to you. And then next we have our content creation. So here in the content creation, this is where you can create customized training courses that are relevant to your organization. All of the lessons that you add in here need to be in either Azure Media Services, YouTube, Vimeo, Stream, or any other solution that provides a iframe code for that content. And if you look at this little help guide up at the top here, you will be able to see that in this overview. It lists out all of the supported video types. And up in the top right-hand corner, we have these help guides that will walk you through creating your content step by step. I will say it's pretty easy to do, but it is a little bit of a time-consuming process. You can always reach out to your customer success team if you need any assistance with this. But these help documents are also really great features as well. Then next we have our policy manager. So here in our policy manager, you can use this to utilize your training platform to make it easier to deploy workplace policies and procedures to all of the users in the system. They'll have to confirm they've read and understand the policies, and this just helps to easily provide a way to digitally attest to the policy so you can store that data year after year. And you can either upload a policy from scratch, or we have our templates that you can use. These are really great templates and they're all very customizable. A lot of them already have videos and text included, but if you want to add your own videos, you can edit the text, or if you want to add your own PDF in here, you can edit this as needed. Then we have the confirmation questions. Again, these can all be edited, or if you even want to remove them and add your own questions, you can definitely type out your own. And then we have our signature type. So however you want users to acknowledge that policy at the end. Then you'll set your recipients to receive this policy, edit any of your communications. And then lastly, you'll just finalize the delivery. So you can either do a one-time signature, a from last signature. So if you want to do it 1 year from the last signature, or even set an annual renewal date. And then once you're done, you can either save it as a draft if you want to come back and start it later, or you can save it and schedule the start for whenever you want it to be deployed, or you can save and publish it now. But again, with these policies, same with the drip learning campaigns, once you deploy this, you can no longer edit it. It is permanent. And then moving on to our dashboard. This is our administrator dashboard that gives a snapshot view of the activity for everyone in your organization. So these stats are going to show you how many users are using your portal, how many clips have been viewed, how many exams have been passed. You'll also have visibility of the recent achievements within the gamification program, top lessons, top courses. And then we have our flight plan. This is going to show any courses that are currently in development or any newly added courses. And as you can see, they are always making revisions to old courses, so it's not like they add courses and then just leave them from then on. They are constantly updating and making revisions as needed. And then our last section is going to be the help section. So this is video tutorials both for new learners and for administrators. Help for new learners is going to be available for all of your end users. And then these 3 will be available for all portal administrators. The help for customer portal admins is really just general portal setup stuff. So how to manage your users, assigning trainings, editing portal settings, all of that good stuff. At the bottom, we also have how to install the Teams app manifest. So if you would like to add this into your Teams, that way users can just access their course library via Teams instead of the web page, reach out to the client success team and we can always send over the manifest for you. But this is kind of what it looks like. It'll show up as an app in the left-hand sidebar of Teams, and users can just access the courses that way. And then we also have help for content creators and policy managers. This is going to be similar to the help that's in the content creation area, but these are like step-by-step videos that actually show you how to do everything. So the help section is really great. The portal itself is very user-friendly, easy to use, but as you can see, there's just a lot of different functionality in here. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to find stuff. So if you ever have any questions, definitely check out the help section, or you can also always reach out to your customer success team, and we are more than happy to help as well. All right, before I stop sharing and hand it back over to Sam, do we have any follow-up questions?
I'm not seeing any at this time. I did want to highlight, however, you are correct for the help for new learners will be available for all portal admins, only the portal admins will see that video section. And then same for the content creators. You have to be assigned as a content creator for that help video to appear, as well as a policy manager for that help video to appear. And how you would do that is in the section where you're editing users, being able to add them as the administrator portal, a group administrator, and there we can see the content creator, policy creator, or coordinator. Thank
Sam
you,
and
Bailey.
Sam and Bailey, we do have another question. Antonio is wondering, are we able to use lessons that are already created when making a course in the content creation section, i.e. mix of custom lessons and Inscape lessons?
So I don't believe that you can add any of these courses into your own custom content, but what you could do is just create your channel, and then you could always use the learning paths for kind of combining them. So you could just create a custom, like your custom course, and then come in and create a learning path and either use the template and customize it that way, or you can use your manual selection. And we do have an example here. This is a custom course. So you can pick and choose if you maybe want to do one of your custom ones and then select a video from the default trainings. You can assign them that way.
Hopefully that helps answer the question there. Thank you, Bailey.
Mhm.
And then we do have another one about assigning the M365 licenses. Not sure if I'm understanding that question fully. If anyone on the team has a better understanding of that question, we can
So
always go
I
ahead,
don't
Abby.
believe that is the training platform is not where you would assign Microsoft 365 licenses. That would be back over in the main Inscape platform under the assign Microsoft license, as Bailey is showing.
Yeah, and if you need help with that, we can always reach out to you individually and follow up. Otherwise, in the training platform, it's not necessarily assigning any of the licensing on here unless you're relating it to adding users.
And we do have we usually say licenses, but it's kind of like a seat count, and you'll be able to see what your seat count is up in the top right-hand corner. And uh, if you need more, you can just reach out to the success team and we can assist with that.
Awesome, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint, but please, if you have any other questions kind of popping up as you're digesting the information Bailey just did a wonderful job going over, please still use the Q&A to put those in there for us. We do have a LinkedIn community available. So if you guys are not yet part of that, and we'll put the link in the chat for you, we'd love for you to join in there. We post weekly tips. We'll also post the recordings to this webinar, which will also be emailed to you, as well as some of our past webinars. It's a great resource for you guys to be able to communicate with other Inscape users, post questions, and see what we have to offer in there. If there's any upcoming news or releases, you can get that information there on LinkedIn. We do have our webinar scheduled all the way through November. So next month on October 21st, we're doing the Cloud Management Checklist Part 2. Now we did have a Part 1, and if you missed that, no stress at all. We have it recorded. You can either request it here with us now and we'll send that over, or it's also posted on that LinkedIn channel for you. And I'm sure we'll be sending out an email. Thank you guys for attending with today's link, and possibly we can include some of those other links as well. And then in November, we're going to be doing another one of the training deep dive sessions, just like we did today. So if you want to join again or have another team member join, we'll be sending out that link and would love to have you join again with us. If you have received a survey from Inscape, it doesn't take too long. It would really benefit our team if you could take that time to complete that survey for us as well. And I do want to thank everybody again for taking the time to join us today. Please reach out to us directly if you need any assistance. You can do that through the main mailbox at inscape.signup@cdw.com, or reaching out to your assigned client success manager. Again, we have all of them on with us today, Melissa, Abby, and Bailey. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat here. Is there any other closing comments from the team I have today?
Nope, it looks like we're all set. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.